Well, two different benches of India's Supreme Top Court have passed conflicting rulings on ending the stray dog menace in the country. One calls for all stray dogs in the capital to be rounded up and removed, while the other insists stray dogs should be sterilized and returned to their neighborhoods. The Supreme Court has now shifted the suo motu case to a newly constituted three-judge bench, which will hear the matter on Thursday. The court noted that the judges who passed the ban order are not part of the new bench. And earlier this morning itself, a Supreme Court lawyer mentioned a petition before the court seeking regular sterilization and vaccination of the animals. To this, the Chief Justice of India said that he would look into the issue of stray dogs in his court on Thursday, but it's not immediately clear if the Chief Justice was referring to the 2024 petition or the recent Supreme Court judgment that has triggered a backlash. The dog dilemma began earlier this week when a bench of the Supreme Court gave an order to relocate all the stray dogs in Delhi and surrounding areas. They are to be sent to safe shelters within a span of 8 weeks. The court took suo motu cognizance on rising reports of dog bites and rabies cases in the country. The judges said, forget the rules and focus on public safety, even if it meant hurting the sentiments of animal lovers. But this decision contradicts the Supreme Court's 2024 order. That order says authorities and officials are to follow the country's animal birth control rules, which says that the stray dogs are to be caught, sterilized, vaccinated, and then released back to their localities and neighborhoods. The earlier ruling also underlined compassion towards animals as a constitutional value. Integrated Health Platform says that over 10,000 people get bitten by dogs every day in India. But the actual number could be much higher. If you just look at the number of rabies deaths, the figures are startling. The government figures for rabies deaths in 2022 is 21. WHO, using government data and other Indian sources, say that 305 died of rabies in the same year. But WHO also says that its estimates of rabies deaths in India for 2022 is actually 1,800. Maharashtra state in India records the highest number of dog bite cases in the country, and that's followed by Tamil Nadu with 12.9 lakhs, Gujarat with 8.4 lakhs, Karnataka 7.6 lakhs, and Andhra Pradesh with 6.5 lakhs. This conflicted order has divided residents and animal rights activists. The Residents' Welfare Association have welcomed the dog-free neighborhood plan. That's on one side of the camp. Meanwhile, the other, the animal rights activists say that it's impractical. They point that the shelters will be overcrowded and they are underfunded in New Delhi. In an exclusive conversation with WION, animal rights activist and former Union Minister Maneka Gandhi says that the Supreme Court order is not practical and that the Delhi government does not have the resources to build shelters for stray dogs. Take a listen.
Unfortunately, this was like an Alice in Wonderland order in which the Red Queen says, off with your head. So this was similar to that. It was illogical. It can't be done. Responsibility on government, which is not prepared to do this thing.
Well, how do you browse the internet and search for the information you require? What if I told you a new era of browsing could be right around the corner? One that is powered by AI, making your life simpler and more sorted than ever before. Case in point is this AI company called Perplexity. It's owned by an Indian origin CEO, which is seeking to acquire Google's Chrome browser for $34.5 billion, a price tag that nearly double its own valuation. As per reports, taking a leap towards its goal, the company has managed to raise around $1 billion so far from major investors, including Nvidia and Japan's SoftBank, possibly to fund this acquisition. And many are calling this move bold, as Chrome commands roughly over 3 billion users worldwide. and is also a top choice among AI-powered search options. But that's not all that Perplexity is proposing in its rather unique merger plan. The company says it plans to keep Chrome's engine open source and retain Google as the default search engine on Chrome, instead of replacing it with its own AI tool. But how does the offer serve Perplexity exactly? Well, last year, the US Department of Justice, after winning an antitrust case against Google, proposed forcing the company to sell Chrome. The DOJ called it a critical search access point that entrenches Google's monopoly, which could now have a market competitor should the deal materialize. But how easy or difficult is this bid going to be, given the regulatory and user concerns about the acquisition? Well, like I said, Perplexity is not seeking to replace Google Chrome. Similarly, the offer also suggests retaining Google's key engineers to make it look like a partnership. Plus, the all-cash offer with no equity component guards it from the probable ramifications of a high-bidding deal, as well as the side effects of the antitrust case against Google Chrome. The stakes for Perplexity are undoubtedly higher, but challenges also remain as far as Google is concerned. The US tech giant might not relent easily and also plans to challenge antitrust probers in court, also with other investors offering greater sums up its shore. The question is, what will Google choose to do? That we'll have to wait and watch. Well, in other news, in a land where nature reigns supreme and ancient traditions hold sway, a new battle is being fought. In Masai Mara, a new exclusive safari lodge has opened its doors, triggering a legal war, pitting profit against preservation and exposing a stark choice between conservation and commerce. Take a look.
The Masai Mara remains a natural wonder where grass plains stretch into forever and thunderous herds of wildebeest crash their way across ancient migration trails. It is Africa at its wildest. Stalking lions, zebra convoys, and an untamed symphony of survival that entrances travelers and scientists alike. This is the heart of a fragile ecosystem, a sacred land where the rhythms of nature dictate life itself. But now, a new beat has begun to echo across the plains, a rhythm of luxury and exclusivity. The arrival of a new Ritz-Carlton Safari Lodge, with prices starting at as $3,500 a night, promises a front-row seat to this natural wonder. But can a lavish, exclusive resort truly honor the wild, or does it, by its very nature, diminish it? A lawsuit alleges that the new development poses a direct and existential threat to the very wildebeest migration that it uses as its primary selling point.
If you look at the tourism industry behavior today as we speak, they're still doing the same stuff. They're driving off the road, they're, harassing wildlife, and at the same time, you have community members who have knowledge on how to deal with situations, and they are not being involved at all in this industry, in how tourism is regulated, in how tourism interacts with the community. So all these issues have contributed negatively to the Maasai.
The outcome of this legal battle will not just determine the future of one lodge, but could set a precedent for the entire conservation and tourism model in Africa.